doing it.
Hi, I'm here with Bears and Trees, a band from South London who consist of Ian, Callum, George and Nick. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Ian. I sing, I play bass, I write the lyrics. Is there anything else?
I'm Callum. I play ukulele and sing and keys, and I don't write the lyrics.
I'm Nick. I play guitar. I do write half the lyrics. Yeah.
And I'm George. I play the drums and I do all the production, and I have absolutely no input with lyrics.
The band is definitely split into two halves.
First of all, how's lockdown been treating you guys? Have you had any individual struggles, and how has the band coped?
I think the band is fine. We're in a better position now than we were in the first lockdown last spring, which was really not fun at all because we were just trying to work out how to be a band when you can't see each other. But I think we're doing better now. We kind of saw this coming, so we made sure our affairs were in order.
Yeah, it's all a bit of a learning curve, isn't it? We like working out how to work with each other. Like we were saying before, we're pretty good at Zoom now, although still get it wrong. We're kind of better at all these kind of online things, and we do games nights and stuff like that. So there's lots of things we can do online, which we wouldn't have done, I don't think, if it hadn't been for lockdown. Which is
and learning all these different modes of engagement with the audience rather than just like stuff that we all need to be there for. So just working out how to itemize everything into.
I mean, we were like a kind of, I guess in some ways, an online-based band before lockdown. So it was kind of, in a way, just extending what we already do. But yeah, still a lot of learning to be done.
Definitely.
Personal struggles. I mean, it's horrible, isn't it? It's not fun. I mean, it was a little bit fun at the beginning. There was a bit of novelty to it. It was like, oh, I'm taking time off.
There was the banana bread baking stage,
Yeah.
and then there was the several months in stage.
Yeah. Existential angst stage.
That's like the Netflix baking on the sofa, like slowly falling apart stage.
Yeah.
Isn't this fun?
With lockdown in the UK, gigs have become kind of a thing of the past. What was your favourite past gig and why?
We have I think each of the gigs that we've done, and we talk about this a lot, they all have their own individual merits of being interesting and powerful for us personally. Like there was the first gig that we played where all of our friends were singing back to us, or the car park gig or the house gigs that we hosted ourselves or our friends hosted that were just a kind of, we weren't accepted in any kind of local scene, so we started our own. Or maybe it's the first ones that we started seeing actual fans rather than our friends, and so on and so on. So I think a lot of gigs have their own individual merits to them and have been really profoundly important to us. I think every gig we've played, we've always been like, either it's been really important in terms of learning, or it's been a great experience, or it's just like been just a great expression of self. I think, yeah. What do you think? I think probably my favorite was the car park gig, or maybe Mikey's house gig. I just like those kind of more intimate DIY kind of like just trucking along gigs.
My favorite gig was last New Year's, when New Year rolled around. We were all our mates on like this. I'm calling it a gig. People are watching us. Watching the fireworks from this like kind of like hill, like foresty bit near a really close friend's house, and we played Ramblings of a Lunatic, which came out on January 1st, with the fireworks going off around us and everyone just hanging out, having a good time, like just all our like closest mates there, and that was a nice start to the year. I'm calling it a gig.
Definitely.
I think one of my favourites, if not my favourite, was we did one in Hoxton Square, and I think just there was loads of flashing lights, and again there was a lot of people we knew there, like lots of friends, but also like a mixture of friends and fans, and everyone was just like jumping around, and
it was great.
That was great, yeah.
And then we just had like a big hang afterwards. That was nice.
My favourite gig was our EP Icy Blue launch show, which we did at Croy Wall, which is a climbing centre near where we live, and we just essentially like we had a friend who works there, and we just like took over their little like cafe area and bought everything. Like we had 2 carts just full of equipment, and like loads of like friends came and fans came and stuff. It was just great, just good vibes all around.
I actually might change my answer just a little bit.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, there's this one gig we did in this vegan cafe in Southampton this one time where we were given this upstairs space. We turn up and the place is just covered in chairs, and we were like, we're not really a sitting down chair kind of band. And they were like, oh yeah, but the thing is, this front bit of where you're performing, the front bit, if people jump around there, it will collapse. And so we had to kind of persuade them to move the chairs out the way, and we kind of like had to persuade our audience to kind of calm down a bit. But even at the last song, when it all dropped, it just went so crazy that the whole building was shaking, which I'm very glad for safety reasons, but also like cultural reasons. That's a very important cafe. That we didn't do any serious damage, but it was really cool. We had loads of fans come up to us, ask for autographs, and dance with us when the other bands were playing. That was quite fun. That was quite funny. Fun gig.
They all sound great. Following from that, where would you most like to play a gig? Is there any countries or venues you'd like to visit?
I think we really want to do a like US tour. Obviously, we've recently signed to like Counterintuitive, and we've been talking about like going out and meeting Jake, and like he's the founder of the label, and going out and doing like US stuff. But obviously, coronavirus means we can't do that. But we are pretty sure like once it's kind of over, like we're kind of aiming for 6 months after coronavirus is gone. Hopefully, we'll be able to go out there. So I think going to the US is going to be insane in the membrane.
I mean, UK tour that was meant to happen and rescheduled. I'm still really excited for that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think one key space. Oh, sorry, I don't.
No.
One
Go.
key space that me and Nick always talk about in kind of interviews is like the O2 Academy Brixton, which is quite a big venue, but it's our local big venue, and it's where we saw like all the bands when we were growing up, like the Wombats we saw there. We saw All Time Low, Sleeping with Sirens when we were like younger and stuff. And it's just like it's the biggest. It's kind of this like holy grail of our local area. It's like this huge venue that would just be amazing to play one day. Yeah.
Definitely. So, what are the long-term future plans for the band? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Selling out. Selling Bears and Trees mugs, Bears and Trees socks, Bears and Trees top trump cards.
I would definitely buy all of that.
Thank gosh. But no, I think we've never like. I think maybe recently we've been more committed to a vision of like this band becoming our job, but because it's become more possible. But even when we started, we've never had a clear goal in mind. It's always just been, as long as we're having fun, we're going to make music and we're going to keep making it with each other. So really, it's as long as that doesn't stop being fun, then it's endless. I think.
I think that's beautifully put. Yeah.
Like we obviously we have plans and stuff, but I'd say our plans are only ever really a year, maybe 2 years at a push. Like in the future, we never look too far forward, which may be good and bad, but I guess, yeah, we definitely don't get ahead of ourselves.
Definitely. Your most recent EP, Keep Me Safe, came out just about a month ago. What parts of this are you most proud of and why?
Ooh.
Do you have an answer, Callum? Or was that?
No, I'm pondering.
I would say one of my favorite moments in this EP is on Last / Cry, the last track of the song, in which the song is an odd one because it's Callum strung together a bunch of small little notes, bits and pieces of lyrics that I hadn't used throughout this big document where we were storing all our lyrics, and he strung it together into this beautiful basically narrative. And what I really liked was it was almost about kind of coming through a haze and reconstructing your sense of self what I really liked was at the end when Callum first played it, I was like, well, what would be really cool is if we did kind of like a Donny Water catch and we sung a bunch of songs from what we've done previously. And at the end, you have from the first song we didn't even write as this band, we wrote it together as a part of a previous project that kind of fell through or whatever. From that point up till now, we have a song from each era, and it's this really beautiful thing of like the nostalgia of the self-continuity, the kind of sense that your friends and the art you make kind of pulls you through all the darkness or all the confusion and turmoil. And I think it's a really beautiful moment of just like, it's just nice and nostalgic and heartfelt and happy go lucky and stuff. I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love Ibuprofen as a single because from like a production point of view, I got to have a lot of fun with it. That like we did like all our usual, layering up drums, bass, guitar, ukulele, vocals, and then I kind of started playing around. I guess I had quite an early vision that I wanted to layer stuff up, but like especially like drum samples and then like synth sounds and bits like that, and just kind of have a bit of fun with it. And I made in my opinion, an absolute banger.
Definitely.
Not just your opinion, it's objective fact.
I think I can talk about It Gets Better, which I think we had like quite a clear vision for with that one. Like there's a song called Living Room Song by The Wonder Years, and I think it's one of like the only songs of theirs which I actually like know. Like Ian and Nick really like them, and I'm just like, I know a couple of songs, but it had like that kind of like homely feel, like a kind of jamming in like in a living room or in kind of like just a room, and I think we really want to kind of keep that feel. And I just think it just has like there's 2 chords throughout the whole song. You can really you just like strum through and just enjoy playing it because you don't have to think too much about how it's not that difficult to play. You can just enjoy singing it. I think that's one of the kind of benefits of it.
I have nothing to add. I think that's all very good.
That's right.
Talk about vinyls, Nick.
Sorry. Yeah, true. Yeah, and we got our first vinyls pressed for this CP, which is very, very lit and really funky.
I've seen they look really cool.
We're really happy.
Better than I could have imagined.
Yeah.
Of course, what we all really want to know is when can we expect the next release?
Soonish.
Sooner than you think.
Yeah. At least. 2021.
Okay.
Not even. I would even say maybe first half of 2021.
That's very promising.
We were lucky enough to kind of in between lockdowns in the UK that we were able to kind of get together and do a lot of writing. We wrote a lot of songs,
and we recorded as well. We were prolific during that period.
Some of them, a very small amount, will be coming soon.
I think it was this kind of weird sense of creative frustration at the fact that we were kind of locked off from each other for that period of time, that when we came together it was just like boom boom boom, we were just
yeah,
like getting as much done as possible, just because we love it than and we missed it than like, oh, we need to get stuff done otherwise we will be caught short again. It was more like, oh, we need to do this, it makes us happy, it gives us purpose, and so we just kind of did loads.
Yeah. How does the songwriting work within the band? Is it really a collaborative effort, or would you say you take on quite individual roles?
It's a kind of a bit of both. I think in general, each song can be slightly different. For example, like Ramblings, Ian wrote kind of most of it and brought it to the band. But in general, what happens is either Nick or Ian will write a set of lyrics. They tend to do it individually, although every now and then they write songs together. And then they bring, and then we end up with just like a big document of lyrics on this, like on our OneDrive, which we all share. And then we kind of just jam. Kind of, maybe it's a chord progression, it might be a drum beat, we might have an idea, we might go, oh, I want to write a dancey song, we want to write this kind of song, and then once we've got kind of, normally it starts with kind of a chord progression or a feeling, and then we'll look through some lyrics and go, I reckon we could sing these lyrics over the top of it, and then we just jam out with that and see what happens from there. Sometimes we go, this is not working, and we stop. Sometimes we keep going and we're like, this is great. Sometimes we get to the end of it and we're like, let's interesting. But it's definitely a collaborative effort.
I think what's also quite interesting about when we write songs is we all kind of we've got very short attention spans with the music we make. We always worry that it's going to get boring. So we will write a song and be like, yeah, this is the best thing ever. And then we'll come back to it a week later and we'll play through it again and be like, wow, we've got to change this section, this section, this section. And it will just be this constant, like the second one through, it will have these constant shifts, and it will just be to continue making it really interesting. We had like George wasn't available one gig, and we had someone come in and learn the drum parts and play for us, one of our mates. And he was like, it's so hard. There are so many little bits. There are so many sections. And it's like, yeah, that's what we love to do.
I mean, it sounds great like that. So keep doing what you're doing.
We shall.
I can already see quite a few instruments behind Nick. How many instruments do you guys actually play collectively?
Oh God!
So I
Make a list.
play guitar, bass, ukulele, and I've been learning keys for like a year and a half, 2 years, but I wouldn't say like I'm proficient yet. So that's, I guess, like 3.5.
I can play guitar, bass guitar, ukulele. I can play drums. I was originally a drummer. I sing, and I, again, also similar to Nick, kind of trying to learn how to play keys, but haven't gotten very far. I think I've gotten less far than Nick. Come on, Callum.
Okay.
Take everyone out.
My like first ever instrument was the flute, and I did like classical performance at university. So my main instrument is the flute, which I never use in Birds and Trees, apart from on getting a call from Alfred in bits and pieces. So I can play the flute and piano and ukulele and guitar. And I'm bad at the clarinet, but I can play like a whole scale and singing. I think that's it.
I was trying to learn the trumpet at one point as well. I remember.
I can do a C major scale on the trumpet, so that's something.
I play drums and keys, and a bit of bass, a little bit of guitar, a bit of ukulele, tambourine, most importantly.
Triangle.
Yeah, none of us can play tambourine, surprisingly.
Yeah, I can play like 2 notes on a trumpet. So.
Which surprisingly is very, very hard. So I
I can imagine. That's an insane amount of instruments.
We just like making noises.
Yeah.
I want to hear a little bit more about the story behind the band. How did you guys meet and start building the fan base that you guys have today?
So we met at different stages in life. Me and Callum met in primary school. We met when we were like 5 and 6. And then I met Nick in year 7 of secondary school. And then I introduced Nick to Callum when we started this kind of not very good, we called it thrash indie, which I found out, I remembered recently. We called ourselves thrash indie, which just meant very bad, and no one signed us. I think that's what that meant. And then Callum met George at college, sixth form, upper secondary school. I don't know who listens. Some people call university college, but yeah, in college, doing music production. And then George was helping us record music for that other band. And then when we wrote a song together, we realized that this was a much better fit, and we just decided to start, afresh with a new idea and new synthesis and bringing new things to the table, having learned everything from before. How did we get our fans? Someone else to take that.
Oh, God knows.
We just were playing to our mates mainly. That was kind of what we enjoyed doing. We just
we didn't really. We haven't gigged that much. We were meant to be doing a lot more. We will be doing a lot more gigging in the future because now we have the fan base, which is lovely. But our fan base has mostly just been growing online over the past 6 years, which is really nice and really cool to see. But yeah, I think just because of the nature of the band, like we all listen to different kinds of music, so we can't say we like fit into one scene or like a specific genre. So I think that the people who like us, like, which is like kind of really connect to us, which is really nice, and then just over time tell their friends, and I think that just kind of started spreading, which is really, really dope. And you know, we're super online anyway, so
Me and Nick and Callum, I think George was less so, but we were on we basically liked doing memes on our Tumblr and Facebook and Twitter, and then that just kind of transferred onto the Bears and Trees one again, so our friends could laugh at the memes that we were making, and then other people came along liking our music, the kind of misfits that kind of listen to misfit music effectively, and then we just built a community from that, and it was just trying to be a safe place where everyone's accepted and understood.
Would you say you have a close relationship with your fans? I know you engage with them through Q&As and the Discord server, Sandbox. Has this helped you form any personal bonds?
I don't know who wants to go.
I wouldn't say personal bonds in that sense, because we don't we will know like the mods in the Discord server and stuff, but like, you know, I haven't it's not like a kind of friendship in that way. Not that would be necessarily the worst thing, but I think we try. The way people have put it is that we kind of people see us as like their bigger brothers, which is funny, like the Big Brothers friend group. So we kind of like get into like, you know, messy situations, but like I think have good intentions and a good heart, and try and give advice when we can. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think we kind of, the Discord is such a lovely place to kind of talk to people, because you can have like these kind of conversations with people, but also kind of everyone is there and part of this group. And there are people on Discord who don't ever kind of comment or anything, but they're there and they see the conversations, and they can be a part of it all kind of through that. And also you do notice usernames come up again and again, and we notice kind of those people who are kind of regular and who we see a lot, and that's really lovely to see. Like, to think people are like kind of, I think I was saying on Twitter today where the Sandbox are organizing their own games night kind of as a group, kind of separate from us organizing it, which is just so sweet that we can kind of like create this kind of community where people can get involved, and because they like Bears and Trees, and not do Bears and Trees things, which seems great.
Yeah.
I think what's really nice about it is it's almost like, we've facilitated a space for people to make friendships between themselves. Like, I've seen so many people who have developed whole friend groups out of our music and found like support networks, or maybe support networks, but like wholesome like friendships online through our music. Maybe not personally with us, but we've given them a space to feel understood and accepted, and they don't really have to hide. They can just find people, like-minded people. And I think it's kind of, facilitated that.
That all sounds really great. Like, it's such a great community that you guys have built. What about you guys personally? Outside of the band, are you really close friends? How often do you hang out and things like that?
These are probably my three best friends in the whole. I mean, friendship is, I think, valuing friendship as like qualitative and saying one person is a better friend than another, I don't really agree with. I think I love every one of my friends, but we are all in the same friendship group. We hang out very frequently. Among us and with our wider friend group.
We always say that we were friends before we were bandmates, and that's why we do it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously at the moment we don't hang out as much as we would otherwise, because we can't. But like we used to go, like we'd go to like board game cafes in kind of where we are, and go to the park and do the kind of it's almost like the kind of us who are the band, and there's kind of the extended friend group who kind of, they're not focused around the band. That makes it sound like we're kind of just, that's not at all how it works.
We're a sub part of a very big friend where we live, and it's a band built on friendship. But not just us, our whole friend group is kind of behind us, kind of.
And they feature in songs, like in Sitting Pretty, it's Chris's Plastic Pool and Chris is a friend of the friend group, and there's like Lyndon and stuff who was in It Gets Better, and Mikey and stuff like that. So they all kind of feature in these songs, and they're like, that's me, I'm in that song, and then everyone, and they're all part of the same friend group, and all the big Bears and Trees cinematic universe.
That's great. I'm curious, do you guys have any photos of young bears in trees hanging
Oh
out?
yeah. How young do you want?
I will take them all.
I think the youngest kind of bears in trees photo you're gonna get is us at the age of 16, 17.
We definitely have, but if you pre George era, you have me, Callum, and Ian at like 14. And
Yeah,
I
I
think
feel like
post George, it's like as soon as the band started.
It would be 16, I
Yeah,
think, at minimum 16 or 17, because I think Callum probably was 17 when we fully started.
yeah.
but there are also photos of me and Ian like
Yeah,
at
real-
like
yeah.
10 years old.
Younger than that, I've got a photo upstairs in our like year 2 class.
Oh, that's awesome.
I definitely want some of these sent over to put in.
I think those ones are, the primary school ones are a bit too personal, but beyond that,
Whichever
maybe.
ones you're happy with.
I'm seeing what we have.
I'm sure there's some. I'm scrolling through seeing what.
Yeah, same here.
It's just my favorite part of the early. I mean, so I change my hair pretty much every kind of couple years.
Oh,
So
here we go.
that's how you tell when times have passed. But George, for a decent amount of time, had the most beautiful fringe, just like full emo indie kid fringe.
One day
Right.
I'll make a return.
Yeah,
I think I can. I'm going to try and make one of the photos my background. This is one that it was on the band. It was when we did the Gilwell gig. So in our first year of being a band. Wait, give me a
oh, is
sec
it when
to-
you have blonde hair?
I had dyed blonde hair. George has his almighty fringe. Ian has a fringe too.
I
Curly
think
fringe.
Alan would also have it. Get down. There we
Oh,
go.
look at that!
There we go.
Oh my God.
Nice. Look at us go.
You guys
You
look,
look like you should be a
different.
YouTuber.
Like 18. Yeah, 5 years.
Were we 18?
6 years.
17.
17, 18. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, Nick, Nick used to pull that face so frequently during the really specific time period, and I love seeing it. I'm like,
Right down the bottom lip. Like that. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
That was fun. I'm going to stay like this now so we can just continue.
Yeah. Do it. You taking your place. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say most inspires you guys to keep writing music, and who are your largest influences?
I think what inspires us to write music is that we enjoy writing music. That sounds really odd, but like I think like we've kind of talked about there's been a theme of like friendship throughout this interview. I think that's really sweet. It is genuinely what just enjoy doing it. Like we don't always get to hang out kind of outside of Bears in Trees, but that kind of doesn't always matter, because when we're writing songs together, it is like just hanging out with three of your best mates and writing songs. Like we do it because we enjoy doing it. I think in terms of influences, we always talk, there's like, is it 2 or 3 bands who we all like? There's the Wombats, Walk the Moon. I feel like there was one more, maybe there isn't, but they're the only like 2 bands who we all collectively listen to on a regular / like, but there are loads of other influences who appear out of all sorts.
Yeah, it's like musical influences, lyrical influences come from literally all over the place. Like from the farthest reaches of like, you got like experimental hip hop, you got like folk music, you've got like disco, stuff like that, like neo disco. It's like from like Daft Punk to like Simon and Garfunkel. That's kind of the range we're looking at here.
Yeah.
Have you got any celebrity influences?
What do you mean?
Anyone that influences your kind of style as well as the actual music?
We definitely, I think me and Ian have discussed this. We go through phases of really idolizing certain people's styles. So Ian, do you want to talk about your Caribbeaner phase?
It's not a phase. It's still
lifestyle.
There's a few things like I was kind of really into American indie alt rock. Basically, I was really into Modern Baseball, and I put up this little poster that I got in one of their vinyls of Modern Baseball, and I saw that Jake, one of the lead singers, had a carabiner with his keys on it. And as soon as I saw that, when I was like 18 in first year of university, till now, I've worn my keys on a carabiner clipped to my trousers. Like, it's just this weird thing where you just like click with someone mildly. I've been tucking my t-shirt in because of the same kind of scene of people and that kind of thing. I like to think that my style is unique, but I know it's not. I know I'm just a copy of a copy. So I don't know.
Finally, in 2 of your TikToks, you mentioned that 3 of you had to bribe a Serbian officer to get out of the country. Are the fans allowed the story yet?
You never have a story. I think it's an interesting story, but it's much more interesting when you let people's imagination go.
Yeah.
Okay.
It involved some Euros. It involved
Physics lesson.
a physics lesson.
Yeah.
Involved a gun.
And a single man playing good cop, bad cop on his own. that was really interesting.
Okay. I'll take that.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
That is just about everything. Thank you so much for your time. It's been great talking to you guys and learning a little bit more about the band. I look forward to hearing more of your future stuff.
Oh, thanks so much.
Look forward
Thank you
to
very
it.
much. Yeah.
Thank you.